Erica, now the shot today, video that's got all of Texas talking, probably the whole country, from iReporter Saber Bowman, who shot this on a cell phone near Stephenville, Texas.
Wow. Close encounter for the third kind.
They don't exactly sound convinced there. They seem to be kind of knocking it.
They seem to be a little bit.
Close encounter for the third kind.
It actually sounds a little bit like the
Are they drunk?
Australian kid who threw the party earlier.
If only we could see whether or not he was wearing glasses, we would know.
Exactly. It's a UFO, according to witnesses, and the witnesses include local police and other public figures, the kind of people one would say are level-headed. It's described as a mile long. Some people said the object was a mile long and looked like a gigantic light show. Some folks say it appeared to be chased by fighter planes.
All right, now here's a lovely little story we've covered. Most of the time, the small town of Stephenville, Texas, doesn't attract too much attention.
But people there think that they've suddenly got a lot of attention from visitors who come from very, very far away. Stephenville, Texas isn't too big, just about 17,000 folks out on the prairie 70 miles southwest of Fort Worth. Until the past few days, milk was what made it famous. All that changed when several dozen residents looked up and saw a UFO more than once.
It kind of is the talk of the town right now.
Being the front page story and all, Angela has been pretty busy interviewing locals who swear, big as it wasn't from Texas.
It was very intense, bright lights. I keep hearing that over and over and over, and they spanned a wide area.
It was so fast when it took off, you know, and it made not a sound.
Rick Sorrells led a camera crew through the woods to where he saw it. It was up there, above the trees.
And I did just like this, and I could see it. And if you look at the trees, you know, it's right here. I mean, it's 300 foot up, right here.
A pilot and a constable back up Ricky's story of what he saw out there in the woods. The U.S. Air Force says it was just an illusion. But maybe the visitors read what the town posted on its website. If you're looking for a small town community, you found one of the best. Well, some residents are saying today that they saw U.S. fighter jets chasing that UFO.
That's right, but on the other hand, the military said it had no planes anywhere near Stephenville at the time and that it was most likely just a large airliner, not a UFO.
That's what they always.
For some reason, when you apply it to the field of UFOs, it's not credible. But there is a lot of evidence out there. I mean, I just met with an FAA official that he had cockpit recordings and radar confirmation, visual confirmation, all, you know, synced with the radar of these things, and I consider that evidence.
Ken, if they're hiding it, why do you think the government is hiding it?
Well, I think we've had some of the reactions from the public that show that they are concerned about what this means, whether they are safe and whatnot. But I do think, though, that the fact that we have had so many witnesses come forward across every spectrum of peoples, that it does show that folks are less afraid to come forward. We've had ranch owners, business owners, highly respected people in the community that have come forward and said, you know, we have seen these things in the past in this area, and we were afraid to come forward. And I think with responsible journalism like you have done, and no small part, people are less afraid to come forward. But fear, I guess, is the number one reason why this has been held back from the public.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll ask, why not pilots? Responsible people. Why don't we hear from them? Don't go away.
They were dancing around and they were flickering, but they weren't just doing this. They were like just moving, you know.
Like a light show?
Like, yeah, similar to a light show.
I'd say it was a half a mile wide and about a mile long. It's humongous, whatever it was.
You remember seeing it?
Yeah.
Where was it at?
Whether it was the county constable or the trucking company owner,
And seemed to be hoovering over Stephenville.
or the former Air Force technician,
it's an unidentified flying object.
The only thing weird about these folks is what they say they saw in the skies over Erath County.
I'd say it was a half a mile wide and about a mile long. It's humongous, whatever it was.
Businessman Steve Allen is also a pilot. He described flashing lights exactly the same as Constable Leroy Gatland says he saw 20 miles to the south.
They were dancing around and they were flickering, but they weren't just doing this. They were like just moving, you know.
Like a light show?
Yeah, similar to a light show.
And then they both say it took off.
And it just, all of a sudden, it just shot off and it went directly southeast, or northeast, correction, and at a high rate of speed. It's so fast that I couldn't keep up with my binoculars to it.
The reports have lots of people in Stephenville laughing at places like Cowboy Travel, where Allison Reinhardt and Jared Martinez were booking an exotic vacation.
I think it's crazy. I think it could be true, and I think that there really might be some, but I have not personally seen them.
But what gives it all credibility is the fact that folks who saw it seem so trustworthy. Allen has received 30 calls from other witnesses. The military denies it has anything to do with this. The constable says he hopes it's military, and he hopes it's ours.